Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfanine. So we're going to begin here with an article on zcrypto.com, and it's titled Ripple's on-demand liquidity soars to record high as XRP army eager to receive verdict on SEC lawsuit. So we're going to begin right here. Approximately $18 billion worth of transactions were processed through Ripple's on-demand liquidity in 2022, making up for 60% of nearly $30 billion in volume transacted on the network since RippleNet was launched. The US-based blockchain firm revealed this information in its Q4 2022 markets report shared this week. As per the report, the firm reduced its total XRP sales and purchases in Q4 to $226 million from $310 million in the previous quarter. However, it is essential to note that Ripple only sells XRP in connection with on-demand liquidity transactions. Let me stop there. Look at these numbers, right? Approximately $18 billion were processed. 30 billion, it made up for 60% of nearly $30 billion. This is nothing. Even with those numbers seem very grandiose. There's nothing. Keep in mind, hundreds. I've seen articles said 300 at one time, then a year later after that, 400 financial institutions signed up, something like that, if that's accurate, to use on-demand liquidity, to use the XRPL. And I say this, who is not going to want a piece of on-demand liquidity? No more pre-funding accounts. On-demand liquidity is patented. Hundreds. Imagine how much money they're going to be processing when all these banks come online. Small banks, which, by the way, listen, click that join button, get into that members only section. Watch that last video I released. Watch that last video. It was potent in my humble opinion. It's going to be key. You have to have certain information to know why I personally say there's going to be multiple explosions. And there's a key element that I think we don't discuss enough. In that, click that little join button. It's not a lot. Enter the members only section. Also, if you want to support the channel and you're not in the members only section, let an ad or two do what they do. Let an ad or two do what they do. Now, let's get back to this. When you have hundreds of financial institutions using on-demand liquidity, and pay close attention to the rapid expansion of on-demand liquidity, what does it do to that price? This is why I was talking about that $30 to $40 range yesterday. That's not a joke. I'm not kidding around. I'm very serious with that. It could go way beyond that, by the way, because I didn't even take into account when I was doing those calculations, the tokenization of everything. But that's something I'm watching on an ongoing basis. Every day I'm looking at what Europe is doing, and they're doing a great amount. If you've been following the articles we've been covering, as far as they're demanding to bring in high value people or brilliant minds to aid them in the building toward the tokenization of everything. What was the bank we covered in yesterday's video? Was it HSBC? One of these big banks is looking for someone to be the head of the tokenization of everything. They're all moving towards this. So I didn't even take that into account. If you bring in the tokenization of everything, we're talking about gold, silver. I'm talking about en masse, people, en masse, and the backing of digital assets, possibly XRP and possibly a lot of other assets that could be issued on the XRPL that would pull from the liquidity of XRP, but be backed by physical assets that would drive the price insane. Think about that theoretically. Think about that for a minute. If you have palladium, silver, gold, oil, various different types of crops, all these different commodities, you can back an asset with anything. You could tokenize that value. They're going to need traceability, folks. Traceability. So then that's going to bring value to the chain. How much XRP do you need to have an account? Are they going to vote on that again to boost that requirement up? So they can definitely keep retail out. Are they going to do that? We talked about that. With that $30 to $40 range, that doesn't even take all of that into account. So in my humble opinion, and I could be wrong, that price could go higher. Some people, I'm trying to take everything into account little by little. This is a very, very difficult game to play. So I'm looking at every possibility and I'm adjusting. I have multiple thoughts. I don't have one. I have multiple thoughts, multiple scenarios. One where the price hits a good range and one where a price skyrockets. I consider all possibilities. I'm not set in stone on one because I understand there's a balance to life and there are unknown variables. So calculations have to be adjusted sometimes. That's just being scientific. So on-demand liquidity. Look at the strategic movement they made in on-demand liquidity recently. They made the person the president of the company who was behind the explosion in on-demand liquidity, and that insanely brilliant team behind them. Why? Because they want that price to explode. They know they're close. If we win this case, then that on-demand liquidity is going to go insane. It's going to, in the articles that are written, because Ripple is very open with talking about on-demand liquidity, they love to brag about on-demand liquidity. Just like this article says, Ripple's on-demand liquidity soars. It's going to cause so much FOMO. And I'm not just talking about retail. Retail is definitely going to try to get it. I'm talking about small businesses, medium businesses. They're ready to go into a feeding frenzy, but their cowardice has kept them out. It's kept them out. But let me tell you something. Money talks. Money talks. We win this case and all of these articles start rolling out about on-demand liquidity. Non-disclosure agreements, those companies are going to tear those up and say, non-disclosure agreements be damned. Let's get this news out, because the companies that use that are going to have a boom in business. They're going to be able to play with capital. So they're going to be putting it out there. Hey, we use Ripple. Hey, we're using XRP. We're using the best blockchain technology. We're at the forefront. They're going to be... We've seen this before with other technologies. Tesla, anybody? When Tesla was really, really hot? Everybody, all the company, we're using Tesla. We're using electric trucks to move products now, right? And here's the thing. See, so you can say, well, they didn't all use Tesla technology. Some of them just use independent or alternative electrical companies. It doesn't matter. When you're talking about on-demand liquidity, remember, when it comes to that, it's patented. So if they're going to be using it, they have to use XRP, right? So now you have all this promotion in a feeding frenzy trigger, but there's going to be volatility. I'm telling you, this is my humble opinion. $8 to $10, $10 to $12. A lot of volatility. Look, $3 to $5, yeah, you're going to see volatility. We're going to blow past $3 to $5 in my opinion, but that volatility is going to be fun. I'm not talking about fun volatility. That's fun. $3 to $5, $5 to $8 is fun. I'm telling you, I know. I've experienced this before. A lot of us have, as a matter of fact, and I'm not even talking about crypto, because didn't we live through when we covered Algorand and Algorand went boom? Yes, we did. When Batcoin was super low and then it went boom? Yes, we did. Zilliqa? Yes, we did. Okay, we were here for all of it. Cello, when Cello was at a super low price, then it boom, boom, boom. Yes, we did. I could keep going. We've experienced this many times on this channel. This is not new to us. So I'm keeping that in mind. That $3 to $5, $5 to $8, that's fun. But I'm talking about when the pressure gets on, that feeding frenzy kicks in, it's going to boost that price up. People are going to take disgusting amounts of profit, in my humble opinion. This is logical. I'm laying out. I'm doing the best I can in as quick amount of time as I can to lay this out, the vision. And every day the vision builds. There's one little new piece. That's why we have to research so much. There's always new pieces involved. There's always a chess piece moving forward. Some people are going to miss it, and they're not going to understand why. They're going to think XRP is done. Listen, there was a particular range I always talk about, that $15 to $20. That's later. You don't have to worry about that right now. But that $8 to $12, $8 to $15 range, I'm telling you right now, once you start seeing that the real solid dips and they let it sit down for a while, like it stays down for a while, I guarantee you some people are going to think that XRP is done. They're going to think it, and their trauma is not going to allow them to try to get back in, because it might go lower, and it definitely could push lower, push down from $8 to $12 range to $6. I dealt with an asset before that did that before it skyrocketed to $24. We've dealt with this many times. I've seen it. Now, maybe those scenarios don't play out again. That's definitely possible. I consider that. But I'm considering all possibilities instead of staying solidified in one spot. And as the days go on, I'm calculating other variables. Things like this is showing you what the possibilities are. Every month or two, we're learning about the rapid expansion of on-demand liquidity. XRP is at the crux of that. They didn't even get into interbank payments yet. That's another thing to take into account. And a lot of people don't like to talk about it. They're keeping it quiet. They're keeping interbank payments when it comes to XRP and XLM quiet. I'm constantly just combing the internet for information, and they don't want to talk about it. Shh. They'll say everything, all cross-border payments when it comes to XRP. Cross-border payments? That's what you want to talk about when you talk about XRP? Not me. That's not what. And it's suspicious to me. It's suspicious. You don't want to talk about interbank payments, how they're getting in deep or been in deep with all these central banks, how they won contests. XLM, same thing. You don't want to talk about interbank payments. XLM is winning contests with Bit. I think it was with Bit, right? For the CBDC contest, for the BIS. The BIS praised them. Then they went down to Brazil to try to do the CBDC there. One of the easiest bank coins to issue anything on. But you don't want to talk about the possibilities, not guaranteed interbank payments. Why? And no, cross-border payments is for the people, it's for inclusivity. They keep people focused on the miner. So then the people don't really believe, they don't see that money. But then you have things like and there's another thing. So then you see the shoulders, who they're rubbing shoulders with. So you see Ripple and XLM, Stellar, XRP and XLM rubbing shoulders with Caroline D. Pham of the CFTC. The CFTC just said what? The CFTC said we're about to go bananas on the rest of crypto. I told people it was coming a year ago. Didn't I tell you? I said that they're going to be coming after regular crypto and put the squeeze on them because they only want the bank coins to thrive. Now look at this. They're coming after the rest of crypto. Meanwhile, Caroline D. Pham have respectable meetings, taking pictures with Brad Garlinghouse, respectable meeting over at Ripple, respectable meetings. They first got in close with Stellar, taking pictures with Denell Dixon and such like that. They understand the technologies. They're pushing the new financial system forward. Now we're seeing what I was saying a year ago come to fruition. They're about to go bananas. We covered the article. If you didn't see that last video, watch it. Get the information if you choose. I'm trying my best to keep a balance and give you the best information possible. Sometimes we're serious, sometimes we have a little fun, but nonetheless, I'm trying to get you the best information possible. Just personally how I feel. But they're about to go complete SEC on the rest of crypto, but the bank coins are safe. The CFTC has praised the utility of Stellar. I'm assuming it's the same for XRP. And of course, they know about Algorand and the rest of the bank coin. They're in the clear. What happens when all that money gets squeezed? That's another flood. That's another possible explosive catalyst. When they get squeezed out of the rest of crypto, we see regulations now starting to trickle in from Europe. We see in the UK, we see the possibility of regulations in Australia. We've been trying to keep up with that. That's a little difficult for me. So if anybody has that information, we have a few viewers from Australia. I don't know if they're still watching. I hope yes, you are. And I appreciate you being here greatly. I do. Put that in the comment section. We got to start sharing more information. And I know I know. So there's probably a lot of people sharing information on Twitter, but not all of us are heavy on Twitter. Not all of us are heavy on Twitter. I really only go to Twitter just to do research, find some articles, because sometimes companies will post on Twitter and they might not even post until later on their websites. So I'm not always there to get information, but if you have something you feel willing, you put it in the comment section. I see a lot of comments, a lot. But anyway, moving on, because I'm a little fired up. This is interesting. This year is heating up. It's heating up. Let's move on here, though. Okay, I have so many articles, and we only got through that one so far. There's chapters. Okay, you can jump around. I appreciate you just being here. Vile and grotesque. Ripple CTO slams self-proclaimed Satoshi over lawsuit against Bitcoin. Now, let's read this little tidbit here. It says, in a recent Twitter exchange, Ripple CTO David Schwartz and self-proclaimed Satoshi Craig Wright, we've seen them go back and forth quite a few times, engaged in a heated discussion about a lawsuit related to Bitcoin developers. As reported by U.Today, a recent ruling by the UK Court of Appeals has paved the way for a bitter legal battle between rights tulip trading and some prominent Bitcoiners. My goodness. The suit, which was initially dismissed last year, alleges that developers owe fiduciary duties to the Australian computer scientists under English law. This is very, very bad. Now I agree. Vile and grotesque. Schwartz described the lawsuit as nonsensical, while Wright claimed that he was just facing reality. This is who they believe. Do some people actually believe that this individual is Satoshi? Not that it matters, because Bitcoin in its current iteration is not what it was meant to be. Right? Bitcoin is a rich person's coin. How many can really afford 1 Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoin, and really play? Bitcoin is controlled by billionaires and millionaires. And yet I was reading articles this morning that say Bitcoin is the people's coin. How? When if the people put their money in there and they're not actual investors or traders and they're actually just looking to use Bitcoin as a currency, they stand to the possibility of losing a lot of that value. Because it's dominated by billionaires and millionaires. They control when that price goes up and down. The whole market goes red at the same time, just like this morning. So I never understand that argument. In my humble opinion, Bitcoin is a moneymaker's coin. If you want to make some money with it, you can. It's not going to be huge money unless you have a lot of capital to play with. And of course, if you have a lot of capital to play with, you can make some money. But other than that, you can make a little bit, but you're better off with other assets. In my humble opinion, there's a lot of assets that are good to play with. You just have to be careful and you have to do your research to find out which ones are which. So you can get in time so you can actually ride the wave up and get out before it comes down. You know, that's how I look at this. But this here is just, greed is going to come into play at certain points. A lot of these types of things have to happen now so that these people can be, we can be rid of these types of individuals later on when blockchain takes over. And that's another thing. I have a chapter that is going to come later on Quant. Quant is about to take over. I warned the people. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take before that price explodes. Just my humble opinion is this is absolutely not financial advice. I don't know how long it's going to take for that price to explode off of Quant, but it is. Wait until you see this chapter. Now, it says here, the lawsuit stems from Wright's claim that he lost billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in a wallet tied to the hack of failed Mt. Gox exchange. Wright's attempt to use the courts to compel developers to advocate for his position in the ongoing public debate has been referred to as vile and grotesque by Schwartz. I agree with that. This is insanity. But like I said, greed and vanity are going to come into play. People want monuments built to themselves. They feel like something's owed to them. People want to claim things that they did not originate. That happens every day, all the time. I see it all the time. They claim ideas that are not their own, trying to explain things that they couldn't possibly understand. They don't have that creative ability, but they want it nonetheless because they want the fame, they want the money without having to actually work for it. This happens all the time. So now let's move on from here, okay? Oh, wow. I didn't want to get to the Quant article this early, honestly, because it's deep. But I put it here, so we're going to cover Quant right now. This is a series of tweets from Gilbert Verdian. Now, I'm going to read all of this stuff here. You make up your own mind, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. It says here, today I was very pleased to hear the official approval of the Secure Asset Transfer Protocol working group in the IETF. This has been a tremendous effort over the last 2 years. Look at who's in on this. The last 2 years working with Thomas Harjono from MIT, Connection Science, Martin Hargreaves, Wes Hardacker. Look at these heavy hitters involved. Bear with me. I have to click on that little link there. Here we go. Continued. And colleagues from Intel, IBM, at IE News. IBM. Oh, IBM. Is that right? What blockchains was IBM working with? Huh? What was blockchains? Hedera and Stellar. Keep that in mind as we go forward into the future. IBM also had good revenue last year. They could reallocate them funds and really at the right time, strategically, really put the pedal to the metal on things like Worldwide, things like that. Data Cloud Shield, where they're using other like HBAR and such like that. They were at the time using Hedera to a security capacity, probably for their smart contracts. Hedera has some of the best smart contracts on the planet. But keep that in mind. So IBM is playing at EY News, etc. This working group is also co-chaired. It's co-chaired by Quant Network's own Claire Fosser. The journey to IETF starting in early 2003, while at CSC, Computer Sciences Corporation, working as a security architect across private and public sector. It says, I was concerned about the security of our underlying internet protocols. And listen, my humble opinion, they wanted to take over the internet. He's about to tell you this. This means big money is coming. That means that Quant being a part of this, that price might go a little higher than people expect. If it's an integral part to connecting all of these networks, you know what Quant does. Now listen to the rest of this. We just didn't build an effective security at the core and since had to implement multiple security workarounds to manage this. Number 4, since the late 90s, I was looking at how to better secure the internet, create an alternate secure zone as an overlay that can handle transactions that inherently need more security. You see where this is going? The way forward was to create a new protocol that can route and secure these types of transactions. Sounds like what? Continues on. He says, the main methods to creating a protocol are create a product which is widely used, which then becomes the adopted standard for the particular use case. You've been seeing this with Quant as of late. They've been speaking authoritatively, stating how they could become like the standard for NFTs, you know, commercial NFTs and all of that. Also, commercial stable coins. They put those two ideas out there. They're constantly talking with the central banks. So this is something there's no guarantees, but I keep my eye on that. They want to be the standard. Then on top of that, they landed that deal with SIA. 500 institutions. SIA then merged with Nexi, brought them in. I mean, the amount of banks that they could possibly, not guarantee, possibly be working with is mind-blowing. They're only rivaled in numbers of banks they're working with, or the possibility to work with. They're only rivaled by Ripple at this point. But yet, they only have, what, a 13 million circulating, 13 million, not billion, million circulating supplies, lower than Bitcoin. Where can that price go then? If that's the case, and Quant has all this utility, if they can actually live up to what they claim that they can do, and QNT is used in everything, this is what Gilbert Verdian himself has said. QNT is integral to the network in every possible way. Where can that price go? I think that, and we're going to finish reading this, but I think that price, I was talking about $1,000. I'm trying to really hard to really be conservative. I know people like conservative estimates, but it's going to fly past 1,000. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen immediately, but if the all-time high was like near 500, it was like 430, 450, something like that. I don't know, but it was close to 500. Let's just round it up. Why not? 500? You don't think with all that utility and all these access to banks and possible CBDCs, acting as a gateway for possibly hundreds of different networks, that price can skyrocket? I think theoretically and logically, I think that it definitely can. It can go way past 1,000, way past that. But let's continue on here. That's just my humble opinion. Just my humble opinion, not financial advice, okay? I don't expect you to agree with me or follow what I'm doing at all, okay? Now, let's go on here. It says Wiley, EG, Telnet, and Unix, TCP. Okay, let's skip some of the technical stuff here. Let's get to the good stuff, Mr. Verdian. Says, where an open protocol was easier to access, simpler to implement, and widely adopted, starting with the US DoD in 1983, I decided the best option was to create a protocol through industry collaboration, and 20 years later, IETF was the right place and approach. This thinking is what led to establishing the ISO standards, TC307 blockchain ISO standard. That's him saying it, not me. There's some people that hate ISO. This is Gilbert Verdian saying this. What does SATP mean in reality? We're on a journey and transformation to an internet of DLT networks, providing better security, which will coexist with the internet networks. How? It's not going to coexist. Everything begins that way, acting as a layer on top of something else. Then it gobbles it up. The old, what was there before just disintegrates. Anybody listen? One of my people in the comment section they said, you remember Ask Jeeves? Yeah, we do. Do anybody remember Ask Jeeves? DuckDuckGo, not DuckDuckGo. Ask Jeeves. What was the other one? Alta Vista. Anybody remember those? Where are they now? Google came in, and yeah, Google was complimentary to them at first, and then it just gobbled everything up. Where's Bing.com? Well, Bing still exists, but it's not as widely used as Google, of course. Everything, what I'm trying to show is these systems always start out complimentary. Then they dominate. They dominate. It's the same thing with the car industry. You see that big push with electric cars? Whether you agree with them or not, it started out as complimentary. Oh, some people are going to use them. It helps people. It helps the world and such like that, right? It wasn't forced. Now it's forced. Everybody must use electric. See how it dominated? Came in as complimentary. Now it's dominating. That's the point I'm trying to make. Well, they wanted to dominate. I'll say that. They wanted to dominate. You can see the idea there and the push. All right. So that's what I'm trying to say. All right. So now let's continue on here. He has a lot to say. It says, we see a future with networks with networks of networks much larger than the current internet networks of today transacting data. Information and value, SATP, will be a core infrastructure akin to internet routers operating like BGP today. SATP will solve the following: discovery, firstly connecting DLT networks internal and external permission and permissionless to discovery and identify each other. Routing, the protocol will allow gateway to gateway interconnectivity. That means everything. I told you, it's not just a new financial system. It's a new way. It's a new world as a whole. This is what they're going for. Everything, all the systems. It's a new world system. I don't know how to phrase it. All the systems are going to be revolutionized. They're all going to change. Not just the financial system. That's just the aspect that's going to make us a lot of money. But I'm actually looking at it where I'm trying to make money off of every little thing that they're changing. There's always a way. But all of it's going to change. That's what they're talking about. This is a grand takeover happening right before everybody's eyes. They don't see it. Extra VOD voice. It's right before your eyes, guys. They don't even see it. Right before your eyes the whole time. And it's coming. They're allowing everything to denigrate and break down so that they can come in and play the hero. Problem, solution. They provide the problem and they provide the solution. This is the way that it goes. Let's continue on. It says establish establish communication and transacting, then establish transactions across networks in a secure manner with appropriate controls, integrity, and access checks. Number 12. He did a lot of talking. This is why you have to sometimes go to Twitter for information. You're not going to read this anywhere else. He's made these posts directly here, not on their website. Interesting how times change, isn't it? It says here, I'm very much looking forward to working on SATP and seeing how the industry will implement SATP in their products and networks. Look at the access, look at the power that the leader of Quant has now. You think that's not going to benefit Quant? You think all these powerful companies, IBM and Intel and all of these other, and the people that he referenced from MIT don't know about Quant? There's a grand takeover coming. Quant wants badly to be at the core of it, apparently. Read everything that they've been writing in their documents on quant.network. Then you read this. Look at the authority they attempt to yield. They don't even have the power yet, and they're already trying to wield authority. Look at where it's going. I think that price is going to raise. It's my humble opinion. That price is going to raise. Raise the toe. It's going to raise. Raise the toe. Ooh, I get excited when I think about Quant. People just don't know. Well, let's move on here to a little stellar. There's so much big stuff happening. I try not to get too excited. People don't like it on the channel when I have fun or get excited. My goodness. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people don't. So I have to contain myself a lot. So now I want to cover this a little bit here. This is from stellar.org, right? And it's titled Introducing Soro Banathon Equinox. Stellar is making power moves. Is anybody witnessing this? Are you seeing what they're trying to do? They're trying to take over. And it's almost like all the companies, they have interoperability, so they're not competition, but they're all in this rush to see who's going to dominate the world. This is what I'm saying. They want to be at the forefront of all the different payments and controlling what do you call it? Like regulations, and they're all racing to the top. It's sort of like one of those races where it's like, I'll meet you at the top. It's not really competitive because they're all working together, the new financial system. Anyway, let me continue on with this. But I'm giving you all the thoughts that I possibly can. It says, some things in life are guaranteed. Then they say a bunch of stuff here. Let's skip that. It says, and the release of a new Soro Banathon. That's right. The next phase of SDF's $100 million Soro Ban adoption fund is here. They want everybody in the world using this. The incentives they're putting behind this spread of the smart contract capability of the Stellar blockchain is unbelievable. You think that's by mistake? Who's going to be building on this? Businesses. Businesses are going to be building on this. They're making sure they've been pushing these smart contracts everywhere harder than I've ever seen anybody push smart contracts before. And here they're doing it again. They're not even taking a break. They're doing it again. This is after they work with the United Nations and push their Stellar aid assist everywhere. You seeing this? Stellar's going bonkers right now. That's not including Velo Labs and what they're doing, the pushes that they're making. We got a chapter coming after this one about Velo Labs, by the way. We're staying on top of everything right now. We got to stay in the flow, everyone. Stay in the flow. It says, that's right. The next phase. Okay, we read that part. Equinox is similar to First Light. Soro Banathon First Light retrospective, but with bigger prize opportunities. See what? They're like, listen, we got to turn it up now. We're in the door. We're close with the CFTC, Caroline D. Fan. We almost have the green light. All Ripple has to do is win the case. This is what I think Stellar is thinking. We're in close with the United Nations. We work with the oldest bank in Europe. They're saying they're saying to themselves, it's time to dominate. They're putting the pedal to the metal, as they say. Look at that. Let's continue on. They're issuing bigger prizes, more incentives to bring more businesses on when you already have all these hundreds, possibly thousands of businesses experimenting with or actively building with Stellar. Let's continue on. I'm gonna let them tell you. Says, what kind of content are we looking for? Says, well, anything really. You can earn between 25 and 10,000 XLM. 10,000 XLM? 10,000? Which if they held on to that, right? In the future, when everything is up and running, that price goes up, and it definitely will. In a regular bull market, this price will go up significantly. Did you see where it went last bull market? It could definitely achieve that again, and even easier. Because they're way bigger now. Not everybody, many people are starting to come into the knowledge that Stellar has this crazy potential. They've been witnessing the dealings with governments and banks. They've been witnessing it. So even more people are going to come in and get in on it if there was a true bull run. So even then, so imagine you're just being given 10,000 XLM. It's a lot of potential there. You know, it's not the biggest allotment, but it's respectable for it just being given away. That's a lot of incentive there. But let's continue on. It says, whether you're reporting a small bug or building more extensive projects, any submission is welcome. Submission ideas, Soro Ban tools, GitHub issues, written and video content, code examples, tutorials. Man, they're trying to get everything. They're taking it all. If you're still scrambling for ideas, they're trying to bring in the best of the best. This is one of the most brilliant ways you could do it because there's a shortage of blockchain developers right now. Stellar's being greedy. They're trying to gobble them all up, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Definitely bring them. Just bring them over here. That's gonna make that price go up. I want more people building on Stellar. More value, more value. I want more everything. Do what you do, Stellar. Let's continue on here. It says, if you're still scrambling for ideas, you can always use some of Soro Banathon's First Light projects as inspiration. Here's some cool ones. Hate Dep, if that's the way you pronounce that. Lottery Smart Contract. Raheem Klobber. DAO smart contract, some name I can't pronounce, tic-tac-toe smart contract tutorial. They have all of this stuff here. They issue details and resources. Oh my God, they're just handing the people opportunity. And I say, go forth and conquer, Stellar. I want it all. I want it all. It's about time. Yes. And they said, I don't know. We covered it in the video. I don't know if people saw that, if people saw the tweet when they put it out. A lot of people are not on Twitter. They said, was it Stellar that said, expect magic? Magic? What kind of big announcement are you sitting on, Stellar? You said it, not me. You said it. You said expect magic. Oh, 2023. If you actually live up to what you claimed, if there's going to be magic this year, oh, I'm excited. Okay, all right. Let's go to Velo now. Okay. Let's go to Velo. I hope I conveyed. I think I conveyed the energy sometimes better than I'm saying things eloquently, but it's okay. It's okay. You guys think for yourselves anyway. You do tremendous research and you have brilliant minds. So I know you understand. You probably understand more than I do. I'm giving you that position. All right. I appreciate every single one of you out there. Now, this is from velo.org. They retooled their website. Listen to how they're talking. Remember, Velo is, well, I'm not going to restate it because my people are going to say, we all know. Those who need to know already know. All right, I heard you. Now, Velo. Let me read this little piece here on their new retooled website about trustless with smart contracts. Listen to what they say. We are creating a trustless financial infrastructure, new financial system that supports crypto payments and smart contracts. The next generation of financial users won't only rely upon trusted intermediaries such as banks or brokers, but will also have the option to use automated peer-to-peer networks, making financial transactions cheaper and faster and more accessible. Listen, Velo talks in such a dominating way. Remember, they're moving with an entire web of companies. EveryNet, LightNet, Velo, they're all merged together. There was another company, I can't remember. There was another company they merged with, but the name slips my mind. But they've been there's like a Voltron. Remember Voltron? It was like this robot with different pieces were formed together. That's what they've been doing. Let's continue on here. It says limitless with Web3 plus powered infrastructure. We imagine a world where money and innovation are limitless. Talk to me some more, Velo. Talk to me more. I like to hear this. I want you dominating. I want you dominating out there and bringing all that value right to Stellar. Let's lock up some of that value like Stronghold is doing. Let's get some of that staking, lock up value, create congestion, trigger surge pricing. I want all of it. Keep going. Let's see here. It says, it knows no forms or boundaries. Your imagination is the only limit. Powered by our Web3 Plus ecosystem, your financial freedom is unlocked. Formless value exchange takes many forms. Money you hold in your hand, gold that you mine from the ground. Oh, Velo, you're telling. Oh yeah. Oh, you're talking my language. You're talking my language. Gold. Listen, chance is but cause and effect unrecognized. They see it. They're going. I told you, they're going after it all. They said gold that you mine from the ground, or equity in a company in the form of shares or tokens. Listen, they didn't just say tokenized gold. They said gold that you mine from the ground. I told you. Then you see Stellar in all of these regions. Didn't I tell you? They're in all of these regions like Uganda, who's sitting on top of the biggest, I believe it's Uganda, the biggest gold cache ever discovered in the history of mankind. This was huge news, but they kept it quiet, didn't they? Shh. But Stellar is there. And Stellar's in a lot of key places in Africa. The Stellar's in a lot of key places in Latin America where the commodities and the value that could be tokenized and move across Stellar is unbelievable. Then you pair that with Stellar coming out the other day and they're telling everybody, hey, we're the easiest to use to issue assets on. Yep, our contracts, we made them even easier to use. And we're constantly improving them. And we have Starlight Protocol. You can do about 1 million transactions between two parties, 1 million transactions per second. Something like that. Between two parties, of course. They're declaring that they're the best without even really saying it directly. All the while, they're putting in the footwork to set up in these strategic corridors. Now, there's no guarantees, but this is what I'm viewing. Factually, this is what's out there. So for them to say gold that you mine from the ground, Yeah, they're talking about the tokenization of everything, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't proclaim that. I know the timelines they set out there. We could go by that, but you don't have to. But I just know sometime in the future, it's going to get very fun on the Stellar blockchain. And I think it's going to be bigger than most people anticipate. Now, let's move on from here. I mean, they have so much here. I just want to stay on this website a little longer. It says Quantum, a one-stop lightning speed remittance network. All this Velo's built on Stellar. Everything's running across Stellar. You know, Stellar's just taking over the world slowly and quietly. It's just amazing. When they flip that switch, whoa, Nelly. Remember, XLM provides liquidity for otherwise illiquid assets. I always have to say that. And the world lacks liquidity right now. Now, okay. Oh, this is from cryptonomist.ch. And it's titled, Recaps Analysis of Crypto. Let's read this little tidbit here. It says, the Crypto Readiness Index, compiled by cryptocurrency software company Recap, provides a comprehensive analysis of the cities that are progressively paving the way toward the DeFi and blockchain world. In particular, we will see Zug, or Zug, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, has already been dubbed the Silicon Valley of Switzerland as groups of companies move into the city. Zug has emerged as the largest cryptocurrency hub in the world. New research reveals, my apologies, I laugh because I can hear someone in my mind right now out there saying, just say it one way, Alphanim, just say it one way. But I couldn't help but say it both ways, just in case. So I had a little laugh because of that. Crypto Readiness Index, research by Recap. It says, in order to reveal cities at the forefront of cryptocurrency readiness to entice companies and startups, Recap examined 8 indicators. Among them are a number of the cryptocurrency companies in each city, R&D spending as a percentage of GDP, and cryptocurrency properties. It says not only that, but it also took into account capital gains, tax rates, quality of life score, specific crypto events, people doing crypto jobs, and a number of crypto ATMs. Based on this data, it follows that cryptocurrencies have grown tremendously in recent years and are becoming increasingly interconnected with regulated financial markets. Specifically, the global use of cryptocurrencies has skyrocketed in recent years by nearly 400% between 2020 and 2022. Let me read that again. Mass adoption is already occurring. It's just the information is being suppressed. It's being kept quiet. So now you're hearing it from experts who this is their job to look into this. Does anybody out there in the world, you think you could approach them and they would say that global use of cryptocurrency has skyrocketed by 400%? Going by the mainstream media, they would have you think that cryptocurrency is dying. Right? All right. So now I just wanted to read that little tidbit here. This is a very extensive article on cryptonomist.ch, en.cryptonomist.ch. You can read the rest there, okay? Now let's move on here because we have about maybe 5 more articles to get through, and I want to get this information to you. Now, what's important about all of these cities that they're talking about that are adopting crypto is, personally, I like to make a note of them and keep up to date with the activities going on there because they give me an idea and implications of how the rest of the world will react. Now, it says here, this is on Cointelegraph.com, and it says, London emerges as world's most crypto-ready city for business research. An examination of 8 key data points determined London to sport the highest crypto readiness to entice businesses and startups. Who's going to benefit from that? Quant is heavy over there. Ripple is heavy over there. Stellar is heavy over there. Who are the businesses going to trust other than the bank coins, who already have proven use cases with multiples of businesses, multiples of public and private banks, multiples of central banks? Who are they going to trust more? Then on top of that, regulation is going to squeeze out regular crypto, will be the last one standing theoretically. This is why I keep up with this type of thing. So now I'm keeping that in mind while I'm watching and will be monitoring the growth of London and its use of cryptocurrencies. But let's go on here. So along with pro-crypto regulations, mainstream adoption of cryptocurrencies requires a supporting infrastructure that can allow the general public to access and exposure to the ecosystem. And they're talking about, listen, no matter how they flip it, they're talking about the new financial system. It's the only way that the people can properly interact with crypto. The legacy system just doesn't have it, or they would have stepped in already. This is why they're waiting on the new financial system to build for them and bring them into being able to access certain corridors and have certain technologies that actually function properly with mass interoperability, like offline QR code payments. They can produce something like that, but it won't work everywhere. Whereas we can produce it, for example, Ripple, and it works everywhere because we have corridors all around the world. We're not limited like they are. They have a lot of limitations on them. But let's continue here. It says, when considering 8 key indicators around taxes, ATMs, jobs. Oh, sorry about that. We read that little part already. So let's move on here. Let's scroll down. Actually, they reiterate themselves a lot. It says, as shown above, leading metropolitan cities such as Dubai, New York, made it to the top 3 in the list. However, Hong Kong, which was positioned as the most crypto-ready country in 2022, fell to the 7th place in research. So Dubai and New York are already places that I monitor, that we monitor. Hong Kong also, of course, Hong Kong, sorry about that. It says here, the above list shows the top 50 major cities with an infrastructure ready for the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. By the way, anybody else out there in Hong Kong, Daja How you doing, everyone? So some key factors, or Neho, also, if you speak a little Cantonese, Daja How, Mandarin, Neho, Cantonese. I know my tones are off, but that's okay. Some key factors considered in the study include the total number of crypto-specific events, crypto-related jobs, crypto-specific companies, and number of crypto ATMs. Some of the non-crypto considerations include quality of life, research and development spending as a percentage of gross domestic product, and capital gains tax rate. Of the lot, London is home to the most people working in crypto-related jobs, an indication of higher interest among the general public in the crypto ecosystem. However, other cities overshadow London in some metrics, strengthening the case for the global adoption of cryptocurrencies. This is very good, very, very good. Steering forward in the quest to stay at the forefront, the Bank of England, we've heard a lot from the Bank of England as of late, and also remember that article I covered? It was maybe a week or two ago, where it showed that the Bank of England said, oh, wait, maybe it wasn't Bank of England, but it was declared that by some authority figure that the banks in England are no longer too big to fail. That had huge implications. That means they need help, right? Then the Bank of England took a lot of different actions to save a lot of those banks and prop them up. They literally need the new financial system. Right? There's all factual information you can look up for yourself, right? But we did provide it on the channel. It's just a matter of people screenshotted it and, downloaded those articles afterward. So this is very good. So mass adoption is taking place just slowly and quietly. When there's proper regulations, listen, it's going to take off like a rocket, in my humble opinion. This takes some time. I don't expect it to happen overnight. But as one of the commenters said, 2023, the year of regulations. And I know that sort of mirrors what Brad Garlinghouse was saying. And I personally hope that is true. I hope that is true. It's time for us to move forward and dominate like we're supposed to. It's time for the bank coins to take off. So, here's another article. My goodness. And it's in relation to the one before. So I did some good research this morning. I was up since early just compiling information. This is from Cointelegraph.com also. And it's titled, UK is likely to need digital currency, says Bank of England and Treasury report. Look at this. The digital pound, who's on the Digital Pound Foundation, Quant, XRP, Ripple. Digital pound roadmap is reportedly set to be introduced next week. Is that so? Whoa, we got to stay on top of this. Along with a joint public consultation. That's going to be interesting. A lot of good information is going to be coming out in the next week or so. The Bank of England and His Majesty's, I don't even like saying that. The Bank of England and redacted Treasury believe the United Kingdom is likely to need to create a central bank digital currency by 2030. All right, so now we have another timeline. 2030? No, come on. Bank of England, are you serious right now? 2030? No. Next 2 years. Come on, stop it. Next 2 years. Just use the infrastructures being handed to you. Use the digital sandboxes. Stellar now has digital sandboxes. Reach out to Stellar. And it's good to talk on videos like this. You would be surprised who watches these videos. You would be shocked. And it's not just mine. There's a lot of people's videos. You would be shocked who watches. So sometimes saying certain things, this could be good. It could reach the right ears. Trust me on this. There are regular people out there. Those people that people think are at the top, they're regular people. They peruse YouTube. Now, 2 years UK, not 2030. We'll see if they stick to that. I doubt it. This is according to a Daily Telegraph report. The quote, digital pound roadmap is set to be introduced next week, a government source told the newspaper. Deputy Governor John Cunliffe is scheduled to give an update on BOE's work on the CBDC on February the 7th. On basis of our work to date, the Bank of England and HM Treasury judge that it is likely a digital pound will be needed in the future. Not they want it, need. That's key. New financial system is going to dominate. Bank of England Governor Andrew Bailey and Chancellor Jeremy Hunt told the Telegraph. The Bank of England declined to comment on the article, but announced that a joint consultation on the digital pound would be released soon. We definitely got to get our hands on that. That's going to be good for some analysis. So let's move on here. Okay. A lot of big news to cover today, but it's just fun. I'm glad to see a lot is happening in crypto. Here we go. JP Morgan is at it again. This is from zcrypto.com and it's titled Crypto to Witness a Surge in Trading Activity in the Next 12 Months. Listen, didn't the Fed took their foot off the gas? It's playtime. I said it. It's just a matter of time. I said this like 2-3 days ago. It's just a matter of time and whether or not institutions want to play, whether whales want to play or not. That's it. That's the only thing holding everything back right now. That's it. So let's see if they iterate the same that I just conveyed. I just iterated. It says in the latest survey by investment bank JP Morgan Chase, professional traders are looking to increase their crypto trading volumes in the next 12 months. Like I said, it's time to play, everyone. Get ready. I mean, if you want to play, some people are just investors. They're not day traders, you know. They're not swing traders either. So, but if you're one of those, it's almost time to play. Despite the recent market volatilities that caused major blowups in the sector, there is a positive outlook, particularly among institutional investors. The survey, dubbed the E-Trading Edit, collects predictions globally for the next year from institutional crypto traders. Among the 835 institutions polled, 100% predict that they would bolster their electronic trading activities in cryptocurrencies, derivatives, and commodities. Listen, if this does happen and there's a surge and those prices start popping, they start going up a little bit, where it's looking like there's good opportunities, time to play. It's the best way I can say it, not financial advice. Time to play. When asked whether they plan to engage in any crypto activity this year, respondents gave conflicting views. 72% said they had no such plans. 8% were currently trading, and 14% plan to join the space in the next 5 years. Last year was a tough year for digital assets, and among the factors that caused what has now become known as crypto winter are the macroeconomic elements. A combination of high inflation rates, political conflicts, and resulting borrowing rate hikes drove investors away from riskier assets. But those, like I said, the Fed took their foot off the gas, so now it may get interesting coming up soon. So now let's scroll down. This is an extensive article. Once again, it's on zcrypto.com if you want to read the entire article. All right, let's move on to here. Okay, so we're going to end off here with a little bit of silver news. This is from fxstreet.com, and it says here, silver slumps after reaching a new year-to-date high of $24.62. That's nothing. I expect silver to absolutely explode sometime in the future, within the next year or two, but we will keep our eye on that and adjust accordingly, not financial advice. Gold price forecast, XAU USD erases Wednesday gains, plunges below $1,920 post BOE and ECB decisions. Silver price analysis, trapped within the $23 to $24.50 range. Says after hitting a new month high of $24.62, silver price nosedives, failing to break the $23 and $24.50 range for the fourth consecutive day in the week. And exchanges hands at around $23.40 at the time of writing. Wall Street continues to to record gains bolstered by a big tech company projecting a positive outlook for 2023. The Federal Reserve's, I was just talking about this, rate hike of 25 basis points weighed on the greenback during Wednesday and Thursday's overnight session. However, the greenback is staging a comeback. Oh no. Oh, don't do this. Let the people have some fun now. Albeit, U.S. Treasury yields fall. Okay. All right. I'll take it. It's okay. That has been a tailwind for the white metal, extending its losses toward the bottom range. I'm not worried about it at all, but we keep up to date with these things so we know what's going on. Technical outlook, the XAG USD is still range bound, dropped to below the 20-day exponential moving average at $23.69, which would act as a resistance level in the event of silver attempting to rally back to $24. XAG USD's failure to decisively break the previous year-to-date high of $24.54 could pave way for a retest of $23, a psychological level. I can see that. Okay, so listen, this is from fxstreet.com. If you want to read the rest of this, head over there. Also, they're doing a great job writing some tremendous articles over there daily. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.